Alright. I don't know. Alright. If I decide to publish this, I decide to publish this. Last month or so was really an experiment. I wanted to see if anyone really cared about content being made or not, and no one does. It doesn't mean I don't have things I wouldn't mind commenting on. I have to double check the name. I believe it's Skillshare, but it's, you know, basically there was a push by some that I should do tutorial videos, and I was like, okay, support them with Patreon. It's like, no one's going to ever do that. You know, I'm not expecting the show that starts Patreon to ever get funded. I don't think it will ever get a single contributor. Because, you know, the fact that I put a video up and it actually started getting comments and there was interaction meant there were people who had watched content I had produced in the past. But the reality is the world's depressing. The reason there hasn't been a video the last few weeks is real simple. I had to move. We kind of got forced to buy a house sooner than we really wanted to. You know, our plan was not to do it this year, particularly not right now. Due to some circumstances, we were kind of forced to do that. So basically, I had to move. I had to deal with all of that, and then had to, you know, do things for this place. My primary computer decided to fry. You know, so basically, I don't have a computer set to do minor post-production or proof of vids or so on and so forth. If I set this up, it may just get uploaded straight raw. I don't know. So that's my 2-minute update on what's been going on here at the Show That Sucks. The move was interesting. You know, there's a whole adventure in that. It's me and my wife may do a set of videos about the joy that is the home bidding and buying process. Because it's such a fun process, particularly when rushed and done slightly outside your long-term financial planning. That's just a wonderfully fun process. So that's something that may be forthcoming. Like I said, I'm gonna be doing tutorials on all the 50 bajillion things I do here to kind of make the house work and my life go together and everything else. But you know, those would be years past. Those would have been YouTube tutorial videos. But today, there's really no benefit to putting those on YouTube. You want to put them on a platform like Skillshare, or you want to already have a pre-existing Patreon following, or other things, or a sponsor. You know, that there are people who get paid to do that regardless of propagation and other things. But the fact is, rebooting a channel like this, it just doesn't make sense to give it to Google at all. The Google doesn't want to pay for it. People don't want to support it. As some people commented, you know, well, it's basically you dump everything out for free and then people will think about paying for it for later. Versus the way it works on Skillshare is you put all the same amount of time and energy into making these condensed tutorials. In fact, they require them to be in excess of 10 minutes. And then people pay Skillshare money, and if they watch your tutorials, you get a cut. So it's like the ad share program used to be before the adpocalypse by Google and Mageddon. And honestly, the devolvement of all those systems is indicative of a bigger problem in U.S. society right now, which I'm really going back and forth on if I want to start commenting on, or I just want to stick my head down and completely avoid, because it means getting political and to address it factually means taking a double-barrel shotgun to both the libtards and the RINOs. The U.S. is a very divided place right now, and I can already feel the never-Trumpers, because we're entering a midterm election cycle, you know, the never-Trumpers. The move was interesting because we had to do it rushed, we had to do it later than we wanted, and a lot of things went wrong with it, and like I said, we may get into those details. But after we did the big move and got all the stuff in here, we had to go back and forth in the cars and do cleaning and clear out the last stuff. So I was sitting there bouncing back and forth between the various talk things, including NPR, and that was the week of Starbucks bigotry coming to a head and the Roseanne revival show getting canceled. And it really just was this perfect microcosm for the divided states of America right now. You know, you had your more liberal, the most important thing to the world to them was, more outrage! Starbucks has shut down for the day. Liberaltopia has shut down for the day because Starbucks baristas were bigots. Only instead of being bigots against Trumpers and conservatives and non-yuppies, they were bigots against black people. Okay, the fact that Starbucks baristas, at least some of them, and Starbucks management, at least some of it, is that fucking bigoted should be no surprise to anybody, because this yuppie liberal mecca, at least in the United States, thinks its entire purpose is to judge people. And liberals are happy when the judgments are more Californicated, libtarded, and when they're not, our mecca is bigoted. And then on the reverse cosm of that, you had conservative, no, conservative is the wrong word, RINO America flipped out about the Roseanne show. Because, you know, basically she made a comment. Basically she compared an Obama staffer, she made a bad joke. She basically said, if you go and read the now deleted tweet, which has been archived 50 million other places on the internet, her bad joke was the Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes got together and had a baby. You know, basically this is 80s, 90s, aughts humor. You know, if you mix A and B, you get C. Bad joke here. And apparently this was the most racist thing in the world. It's and I was like, and these two planets weren't even talking to each other. You know, this was the day. Got out of the car and I said, okay, honey, here's the two crazy things that have happened. Starbucks has closed down because their bigotry finally attacked black people. And you know, we had a frank conversation about, I don't know why they're surprised. You know, they've attacked everybody else in the last 6 months, so it was a matter of time before that bigotry turned its head that way. And the other side is flipped out about the ABC show. And then there were all the comments ABC Disney made about, well, we had to do the right thing. And this is the problem. Everything, I mean everything in the United States today is somehow political. You know, a few days ago it started to go viral and so on. Apparently, the idea of having chocolate and vanilla in the same ice cream container for people who don't like strawberry and want a Neapolitan that doesn't have strawberry, because some of the household likes chocolate and some of the household likes vanilla, and people can't agree on this, is apparently now racist. You know, we have to rename the flavor. It's called the Great Divide because, you know, and this is a joke. People have a preference. They either prefer chocolate or vanilla as their default flavor. It is a divide. Any marketing material that has ever been done on this flavor that anybody has ever made is just there's this divide. It's the extremes. It's the uber chocolate and the uber vanilla people. It has nothing to do with race, gender, sexuality, or anything else SJWs care about. But this is apparently a thing. So, here's what I get out of all of this. If I go to a Starbucks and order a vanilla chai latte and ask for extra milk, am I going to be assumed to be a Trumper and a racist and a bigot and a homophobe and so on and everything else? Because that's literally as much sense as this shit makes at this fucking point. And if I order a mocha latte, am I considered to be an SJW from it? You can't win. All of a sudden, everything is racist, everything is sexist, everything is homophobic, or everything is bigotry. It's a lose-lose, and I'm so sick of it, because the reality is these people do not represent the bulk of the American people. If you look at the raw statistics, you know, people are neither libtards or RINOs. The vast majority of the American people, upwards of, you know, 3/4, but at least half, depending on how you divide the lines, are basically, okay, that side's crazy because that side's also crazy because. And both of them are trying to do this stir the pot bullshit. Right? You know, what's the other thing going on? Oh, right. We had illegal immigration. I'm going to call it what it is. Oh, no. They're undocumented immigrants. Or immigrants. Or something. No. Unlawful immigration. Unlawful immigration, crossing the border or immigrating into the United States unlawfully. Okay? There was this whole non-tolerance policy where, oh, it's the end of the world, families are being broken up. At least that's the way it was being reported. And that's now been rescinded by executive order, so now they're not being broken up. But then I took a step back from the politics and I thought about this and I'm like, all right, this outrage is incredibly selective. I'm not saying it's right to break up families. I have a family myself. But I got to thinking about, if I broke the law, or if my wife broke the law, or if we both broke the law, here's what would potentially inevitably happen if there was cause to catch us and try us. Me and my wife, especially if we both broke the law, would be arrested. She would be sent to the female jail. I would be sent to the male jail, which may or may not be in the same building. We wouldn't get put in the same cell for any prolonged period of time. Probably for no period of time, to be quite honest. If we were remotely fortunate, we'd ride in the same cop car and then we'd get processed. Not our kids. They become wards of the state. And it would take as long or longer than it is going to take for these immigrant families, even if we posted bail for the family to get put back together. Even if we could. And it's like, well, it costs this much to, get up to do bail on immigrant charges and so on and so forth. It can cost way more on other charges. And again, the outrage is selective. Why is nobody protesting in the street for all of the families being destroyed of American citizens by this bureaucracy? Why the outrage is selective. And we're avoiding having all these conversations as a nation. If you try and bring them up, here's what the comments section, if I get around to posting this video, is going to look like. People who actually get this far into it and goes like, okay, I'm going to be called a racist, a bigot, a conservative, a libtard, an idiot, a moron. We're going to have endless fallacy and ad hominem and red herring and everything else. And then we'll get the cheerleaders. We'll get the people who like, oh, I agree with you, and on, and yeah, those damn libtards, oh, those damn conservatives, yeah, Trump's dividing us. It's like, I just said Trump isn't dividing us, we're dividing ourselves. But that's where we'll go. And it's insane. It is beyond insane. And I could scream to the hill, and nobody will listen. Nobody. Everybody's already made up their mind. They're already choosing sides. Everything's political today. Everything. somehow Star Wars and Star Trek and Marvel and DC, it's all political. The last video I made was talking about Scouts. It's insane. Okay? I have, honestly, God, the echo chambers of the two issues during the move, and that now apparently ice cream flavors are racist, and I'm just like, these people are not living in this universe. Forget this planet. They're not living in this universe. They're not living on this planet, in this country, in this universe. They're in echo chambers that are so detached, they're literally parallel realities at this point. But then you set that aside, and then, you know, and both the conserv and the libtards. And I'm becoming acutely aware of this. Honestly, it's the damn Cuddles' fault. It's the twins' fault. It's the Cuddles' fault. Because the older kid, you know, I was gaining the time, but it wasn't the thing. And now the Cuddles have my mind thinking about everything. Because, you know, it's, okay, the job is to teach them to adult. That's the job of a parent. I want the kids in this household to grow up an adult. And I live in a society that doesn't want them to do that. And it's frickin' infuriating. Yes, I said frickin', I censored myself. I can censor myself. Third party shouldn't. We're obsessed with gender and sexuality, and for some backward ass reason, race again. I don't understand why we're obsessed with race again. This was a joke when I was a kid. Now it's the end all be all decider of somebody again, and it's insane. And it's racist is what it is. But apparently we want to add sexism to it. You have the one extreme that says having a female heroine, you know, and that in and of itself is a sexist argument. And we have these assumptions about what girls and boys have to be, and I'm really trying to get my head around, because I have girls and boys in this house that need to grow up to be women and men. And, you know, try and do that as an adult-type humanoid person responsible for raising children. Create a list of this is what a man is, and this is what a woman is. Now, it's real simple in terms of biology. Boys have a pee-pee, girls have a vagina. You know, every little kid says that, not understanding it, and just to get a reaction out of the adults. And, you know, the more rational people go, you just trying to get a rise out of me, you adorable little thing. And according to the far libtard left, that is not a fact of biology anymore. Organs and DNA do not determine gender anymore. Okay. Okay. I'd love to know what the hell non-binary is. And I'm not saying transgender doesn't exist. I'm just, are you freaking kidding me? It's just, because honestly, I consider a lot of things that are on the this is manly stuff list. I'm like, but my girls can do that too. So yeah, I can see the patriarchy chauvinist argument. But as I said, I have boys too. You know, have male types that have to become in. They're not evil because they have a pee-pee. They are not automatically part of the evil patriarchy keeping all women down. You know, so far I have a short list of things that the boy's going to learn. 1, treat people with respect. Girl's going to learn that too. That's not a male thing. That's a people thing. Treat others with God's damn respect. Beyond that, I don't really have things that are inherently, and that's not even inherently no. You know, it's the same with, you know, a woman is not there to serve you. I'm gonna teach that's part of being a man in my you respect women. You respect us. Part of being a woman is you respect everybody. You know, respect the. So that's not inherently a male or female thing. You know, used to be guy stuff to go work on a car or fire a gun. I think all the kids should learn that. You know, I'm really trying to wrap my head around in the 21st century what is male, what is female, other than anatomy. You know, it's the old joke, boys don't cry. Yes, we do. Traditionally speaking, males tend to internalize more. Traditionally speaking. You know, we tend to wear our emotions less on our sleeve and more internalized. I see the pro and con of that because somebody has to be rational. It doesn't mean that's a male thing. Women can do that just as much. Traditionally speaking, don't, but it doesn't mean they can't. We're a pretty traditional household here, for the most part. And that's apparently a bigoted thing in the eyes of some. I just, you know what? If I start doing regular YouTube vids, I think it's going to be I think this is the framework. Right? I think in this little rant I've just come to the framework. It's going to be, hi, here's the stupid shit humans did this week, or month, or whatever, or as the case arises. It's like stupid shit in the moment right now is apparently ice cream flavors are racist. No, they're not. It's not about the color of people's skin. It's about flavor preference. That's not a racist thing. You know, I made a comment somewhere on this stupid shit. What's next? White chocolate? You can't call it white and dark chocolate? Is that racist now too? You freaking kidding me? But this whole household has gone through a point of transition with the move and some health things and everything else. And I don't know what details I can talk about yet. I honestly have to compare those notes with my wife because I am far more comfortable with a degree of anonymity just dumping everything on the table and taking a screw you if you don't like it, there's the X or red button or whatever in the corner or whatever UI you're using. You don't have to watch. They talk about it from a perspective of God's help us, but this household has to prepare these children to deal with this insanity in this world. And a common chord the last few years has been people's good intentions, whether they're on the left or the right in U.S. politics. Puts a household like mine in the goddamn crosshairs. And it pisses me off. If people who either were friends or are acquaintances out there protesting, you know, saying things like, keep your hands off our health care, and trotting out the children and saying, think of the children and the goddamn ACA. And quite frankly, me and my wife just shake our frickin' heads at the fact that for this household, all the ACA does is fuck with the children. It takes food off their table and it hinders their ability to have medical coverage. That is the only goddamn thing the ACA does for this household. It does not provide this household with more. It makes damn sure it has to make do without on less. That's it. That's all it does. Doesn't help us at all. I'm not saying the right's helping us. They're not. there's a degree of cynicism of, you know what? If you really want to frickin' help, shut up. Learn about the damn problem. Understand that your solution makes it worse. And stop pretending your bleeding heart matters more than the facts. On all sides. Left and right and everything else. So yeah, I think that may be what I'll devolve into. I may just vent my utter frustration at humanity and the stupidity and all this shit. May intermittently update on what's going on with the house. You know, there's a lot of things going on. Yeah. Sorry. I'm sorry, I've gone on for 25 minutes and I've just basically ranted. The world sucks. I used to think it was the most selfish thing in the world that as people got older, they just kind of stepped back and stopped. But I'm really beginning to understand why people just stop trying to address the world. Because people who do nothing but complain. Every single thing you get done, people will complain. That's a whole nother chapter. I would stay here for an hour plus if I talked about the last few years of my life where I bit off others' problems. They complained endlessly about the way I solved them, but they offered no solutions or other ways to solve the problem themselves. It's easier to complain than to do. And that's the real problem with society across the spectrum right now. And I know I'm going to get into comments, if I get any comments, if this ever goes up. Well, it sounds like you're exactly what you complain about. You know, because it's asking that the time away from my family have a potential for return on investment apparently is entitlement. And that's another thing that, quite frankly, just pisses me off as of late. We've reversed the definitions of things. Me wanting not to work for free is entitlement. Me wanting my labors to have value to others is apparently greed and entitlement. Me not wanting to get caught up in the endless confirmation bias, Dunning-Kruger, my fallacy is bigger than your fallacy bitch fest that is social media. Join Facebook because Meetup sucks. WePay has completely destroyed Meetup. And, you know, it was, Facebook is interesting. It's very interesting. Take the trolling that goes on YouTube, turn it up to 11, square it, and then echo chamber it. And that's Facebook. And I'm just like, wow. 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 I really worry about humanity a lot. But you know, what do you expect from a society that creates flat earthers, the 2012 Nibiru, and spirit science people? You know, it's just, it just, you know what? Let me see if I can create a video that's worth publishing, because this has been a 30-minute rant, but let me just, like, for the hell of it, pull up the news and see if there is any redeeming anything from humanity right now. Let's go ahead and go to the headlines. Okay, so here's the top stories. Trump calls for deporting migrants immediately without a trial, according to NBC News. That's from 3 hours ago. Okay, I have to dig into that because I swear an executive order was this fun to put families back together, and I have a feeling that's probably a misleading headline. But hey, what do you expect? We gotta stir things up. It's an election year. Down with Trump, down with the Trump. We shall overcome. We are SJWs. You know what? If these assholes keep this up, he's gonna get reelected again and serve a second term. And as all three branches of government right now are controlled by the political right, you're not gonna pull it back to the center. You're gonna drive it off the RINO deep end if you keep bitching. It is almost 2 years later. Let's just go over to US. Yeah, apparently we've had another overreach of government incident that USA Today is leading the headline again. I love the nature of this heading. Woman dubbed hashtag, I'm sorry, bucket, # permit party appears to call cops on 8-year-old selling water. Yeah, that sounds about right. I'd have to read it to find out what's really going on there and what the deal is. But if I had to guess, I'd say there's probably some arbitrary law that, you know, basically you have to have a license and so on and so forth. 'Cause that's what happened in my high school. You know, the senior store was selling pizza to all the kids in the school. This was before, you know, First Lady, and the pyramid revival and the dinner plate and all of this and the whole healthy kids thing and everything else. And the death of Fruitopia. This was back in the days where we were allowed to have junk in school. I know, it's just so long ago. God, it has been that long ago. So I grew up in another world. It's dead. It doesn't exist anymore. But literally, they shut the senior store down. The police came. The police came to the school and explained that until they got a resale, so they were paying taxes, and a food handler's license, they couldn't be reselling pizza they ordered in because there was tax that was owed to the comptroller and they had to be food certified. So this got done, and then the cops came back because now that there was a tax ID and they were paying taxes and they were food handlers, they weren't allowed in a public school because now it wasn't a nonprofit. It was the for-profit sub-activity of a nonprofit. This is the bureaucracy. Hi, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Makes you wonder why anybody starts a business. Oh, ex-Trump campaign aide hurls racist insult and Deborah Wright racism in the White House. And debate on racism in the White House. Okay, I have to know what was the racist insult. Because this is from the Daily Beast. Former day, you know. Oh, of course, we have to throw in the inflammatory factoid of a contributor to Fox News, just so we make sure to redirect your brain. Used racist insults on Sunday to respond to accusations of racism in the Trump's house. Okay, what is that? You're out of your cotton-picking mind. That is the racist line. You're out of your cotton-picking mind. I can see it. I can see it. In an SJW trigger libtard's mind, cotton picking goes back to sharecropping and Jim Crow and slaves. Because we had the cotton gin. That's the whole reason racism continued. It's not at all like y'all and youans and used to could. It's not a regional thing. No, it's not a regional dialect. It's racist. Cotton picking. You know what? I'm going to make a point to use cotton picking in language now, just so I can instantly tell if somebody is an SJW. Cotton picking. Oh my God. You know, but that's not the headline. The headline is ex-Trump aide hurdles racist insult. You know what? Ex-Trump campaigner uses the word cotton picking. Cotton picking mine. All of a sudden, it's not a story. Oh my God. I could keep going. This is ridiculous. And you know, and now we're obsessed with what Melania Trump's wearing. Apparently, cops have shot someone else. Oh, trans woman says she was asked for ID to use restroom. Yeah, you know what? That's the other thing. Who fucking cares what bathroom you use? Oh my fucking gods. Okay, I could play this both frickin' ways. Because the more pervy boys, I'm gonna say pervy boys, in my high school kept trying to sneak into to spy on the girls, either in the changing room or the women's restroom. And, you know, that's potentially logistical. That's potentially a violation of certain sexual laws. So the far RINO argument is, well, we don't want this kind of crap to happen. But you know what? These are laws that have, quite frankly, been broken. You know, when I was a little boy, when I was out in the mall or shopping or somewhere, you know, it's my mom would pull me into the ladies' room and throw me in a stall. You know, so I didn't go into the men's room and get abducted by somebody. You know, and if I'd been a girl and I'd been out with my dad, I'm sure he would have fucking done the same thing. You know, we'd have gone to the men's room. This is insane. That it's. And then we have the March for Our Lives. That's the other headline on this list. You know, March for Our Lives bus tour comes to Minnesota. Oh, dear freaking gods. You know what? The gun debate, it's an insult to call it the gun debate. It's an insult to call it the gun debate because in the gun debate, auto, semi-auto, and single action are apparently synonyms. They don't remotely mean the same frickin' thing. And if we can't even frickin' get the facts straight, we can't have this debate. You know, and then there's what the American people want, and then there's what the ignorance, and then there's the saying. It's just like, okay, and I've spent another 20 minutes on Polititoid. Yeah, that might work as something to do every so often. Just pull it up and see. Hi, the world's still crazy? Yep, world's still crazy. It's like, what do we have here? We have fake racism because people are triggered. We've got basically Hunger Games Lyle of circuses and bread in the terms of obsession over what Melinda's Trump wearing and the whole restroom bullshit. And then we've got the facts be damned, the Constitution be damned, we shall be the biggest victim class. You know what? I'm just going to hang the goddamn lantern on it, and then I'm going to end this thing, and I'll probably just make 2 videos, which probably won't get published till after the 4th. Because like I said, I've done the computer up. I'll see if I can download OpenShot or something and mess with this week, but I make no promises. Because I just agreed to take on some additional work, so I'm going to have even less free time now. Here's what angers me most about the whole Parkdale thing and the March for Our Lives and so on and so forth. Parkdale and Pulse both happened in Florida. Less than 20 people, primarily white teens, died at Parkdale. Almost 50 people, albeit homosexual or homosexual-friendly adults, died at Pulse. For all intents and purposes, in the political cycle of things, they happened almost on top of each other. They're not even 5 years apart. It's a whole frickin' movement that a kid who self-identifies as having white privilege. It's a national movement. It's the March for Our Lives, and there's all this shit. More people died. A more preventable situation where we could actually have a more rational argument on gun control. And Pulse is all but forgotten, aside from some annual recurrence events and so on. That's probably one of the most racist, no, not racist, sexist, bigoted, yada yada things. That's a little racist too. And it's just, are you freaking kidding me? I mean, that really says a lot. That says LIBTARD Gun Control America cares more about Caucasian teenagers than they do about homosexual men. Because, I mean, in terms of a violence thing, this should be a numbers game, right? Kind of bigoted. And on that thought, if I ever get around to publishing that, I'm going to go ahead and leave y'all. Cuddle's crying. I've been here for 43 minutes, probably made 2-3 vids. If that. I'll see if I can't begin the process of refining this into a video format and get a little shorter. But this is just crazy, y'all. It is. I am beyond annoyed at my society right now. And I'm profoundly disappointed in it. There's what we're supposed to be founded on, and there's the way we're acting, and they're not remotely connected right now. And for those of you who are not Americans, you know we're coming up on July 4th. Why not actually the day that the majority signed our Declaration of Independence and other documents and so on. It tends to be the day we commensurate as the anniversaries of the founding of this country. And we are very astray, at least in terms of the way we're covering ourselves. We need to call bullshit across the spectrum as a nation. Everybody enjoy the holiday. If it's already come, fine. If not, if I get this out before, great. But honestly, I worry. to do.